What if something everyone else threw away became the heart of your garden? What if a few old planks of wood could turn into a living space for a tiny creature that brings peace and quiet to your backyard? Today, I'll show you how I built a reclaimed wood turtle garden house, a small corner that glows softly at dusk, surrounded by real plants, moss, and water that feels alive. Welcome to Backyard Fortune, where forgotten things get a second life. This video includes timestamps so you can explore the parts that inspire you most. And if something sparks an idea, leave a comment. I'd love to hear your version. Maybe to you, I'm just another face on a screen. But behind this content, there's a real story and a real family. This isn't just a video. It's a piece of my heart. Every like, every comment, every subscribe, it truly matters. When you hit that subscribe button, you're not just helping a creator grow. You're helping a dream stay alive. You're giving a small family hope, one click at a time. Thank you for being here. Thank you for seeing me. One spring frame garden lantern wall. Close your eyes for a moment. Imagine walking into your garden at the golden hour, when sunlight turns soft and warm, and everything seems to breathe a little slower. Right before you stands something unexpected yet familiar, a piece of forgotten spring mattress transformed into a living lantern wall. What once was an abandoned frame is now a tapestry of blooms and light. Terracotta pots nestle securely in its metal coils, overflowing with petunias, daisies, and trailing ivy. Bees hover lazily in the air, and the scent of flowers blends with the earthy sweetness of moss at your feet. This kind of garden wall doesn't need expensive tools or rare materials. In fact, its beauty is born from what many would throw away. The spring coils are sturdy and perfect for holding pots in place. If you gently wind fairy lights or small lanterns around the frame, the structure begins to glow like an enchanted gate at dusk. This is the quiet charm of repurposing, turning the forgotten into something that makes people stop and smile. As daylight fades, the magic deepens. Mason jars tucked between the pots become warm beacons of light. A few tea candles inside are enough to make the night feel softer, to let shadows dance across lavender leaves and herbs below. It's practical too. These gentle lights guide you through the garden while creating a calming evening retreat. If you prefer, solar lanterns or warm LED string lights will give the same warm glow without the need to light candles each night. What's beautiful about this idea is how adaptable it is. You can choose bright flowers to create a vibrant wall or soft pastels for a more romantic look. You can keep the raw metal frame for a rustic touch, or paint it in white or dark bronze to match your garden's tone. Some people even add tin cans or painted pots to give it a playful, layered character. It's not about perfection, it's about personality. And if you listen closely, there's something else happening too. These small corners of beauty invite life back in. Butterflies flutter near the flowers, bees hum through the vines, and even on quiet nights, the glow of those lanterns makes the garden feel alive. A vertical wall like this is not just decoration. It's a stage where light, scent, and nature weave their own quiet story. And the best part? Anyone can build it. One frame, a few pots, a little imagination, and suddenly, your garden has a heartbeat. Two, rustic chain bloom wall light. There's something quietly enchanting about a garden that tells a story without saying a word. In the soft light of evening, the old wooden fence begins to glow, not because of expensive fixtures or designer landscaping, but because discarded bicycle chains have been given a second life. Once covered in dust and rust, these humble chains have been bent, shaped, and painted into radiant blooms, their petals catching the last rays of the sun. A simple lantern nestled in the heart of each flower spreads a warm, golden light that seems to breathe warmth into the air. Upcycling bicycle chains into wall blooms is more than an aesthetic choice. The metal is strong, flexible enough to form shapes, and carries a story of motion, of roads once traveled. Painted in bright reds, soft yellows, and serene blues, each flower becomes a memory transformed. Mounted against natural wood or whitewashed walls, they stand out like handcrafted jewels. And when you add a lantern or a soft solar light at the center, the entire wall changes as the sun sets. What was once silent metal becomes a quiet garden lantern show. Some choose to keep the chain's original rustic patina, shaping them into roses that curl inward like pressed memories. Others give them a playful new life with candy colors and soft, glowing lights, turning a plain fence into a cheerful backdrop where butterflies hover and vines weave gently through the frames. It's the kind of beauty that doesn't shout. It whispers. The practical charm of this idea lies in its simplicity. Bicycle chains are easy to find. A few pliers, a little patience, and a splash of paint can bring the structure to life. Adding small lanterns or LED lights creates soft layers of warmth, perfect for night gatherings or quiet evenings outdoors. This isn't a design meant to be perfect, it's meant to feel alive, shaped by your hands, your choices, your garden. Look closer, and you'll see how the light and shadow dance together, spilling over petals of metal, creeping vines, and blossoms below. The soft buzz of bees, the flutter of butterflies, the rustle of leaves in a gentle breeze, everything around these lantern blooms feels slower, calmer, like the garden itself is taking a deep breath. A wall like this isn't just decoration. It's a love letter to resourcefulness. A reminder that beauty often hides in unexpected places, waiting for someone to see not what it was, but what it could become. And when the lights come on at dusk, this once forgotten metal tells a story worth listening to. 3. Vintage pillow pot lantern. As the afternoon light softens, a gentle hush seems to settle over the garden. A row of humble terracotta pots, wrapped in vintage floral fabrics, sits gracefully on a simple wooden bench. Their soft folds, tied with rustic twine, cradle herbs and flowers like small, elegant bundles of spring. Lavender sways lightly in the breeze, basil releases its bright scent, and somewhere nearby, the low hum of bees blends with the quiet flicker of lantern light. This is not just decoration, it's an atmosphere. A mood. A way of turning ordinary corners into places that feel alive. There's something disarming about using fabric this way. It softens the hard lines of a pot, transforms clay into something tender. Old pillowcases, floral prints, lace ribbons, things that might have been forgotten in a drawer, find a second life as gentle pot wraps. They protect from heat, disguise mismatched containers, and turn a garden bench into a scene that looks like it's been lifted from a countryside dream. With every small knot tied, the space becomes more personal, more yours. As the evening deepens, tiny lanterns and candles begin to glow, their light spilling softly over the fabric folds. You can place a single tea light between pots for a subtle shimmer, or line several together to create a path of warm light. Even inexpensive lights, when combined with textures like linen and flowers, can create a setting that feels intimate and carefully made. It's proof that magic doesn't have to be bought, it can be crafted quietly, by hand. The beauty of this idea is how forgiving it is. You can mix fabrics with different patterns, combine new and old pots, or tie the ribbons loosely for a more rustic feel. Herbs thrive in these wraps just as well as flowers, and the entire setup can be moved easily, on a bench, a table, or a shaded corner of your patio. For a romantic glow, small glass lanterns or candles complete the picture, making the plants feel like part of an evening ritual. If you lean in close, you'll notice how this little corner of the garden feels different. Butterflies hover around the blooms. The air carries the softest hint of mint and lavender. Every element here has a story, a fabric once loved, a pot repurposed, a light that makes everything feel slower and gentler. This is the power of thoughtful reuse, not just creating beauty, but creating calm. A quiet sanctuary built from simple things. Four. Calendar Star Lantern Canopy. As twilight slips gently over the garden, a canopy of light begins to bloom overhead. What once were humble kitchen calendars have been transformed into starry lanterns, hanging gracefully from wooden beams wrapped in climbing ivy. Their perforated patterns scatter soft, dappled light onto the stone below, creating a living mosaic that shifts with every flicker of the bulbs. The sky beyond glows in fading colors, and the soft chorus of crickets hums like background music to a scene that feels both handmade and magical. This idea is proof of how everyday objects, when reimagined with care, can shape the atmosphere of an entire space. Calendars are light, easy to paint, and their perforations naturally create star-like projections when illuminated. A few warm bulbs, solar lights, fairy lights, or soft lantern candles are enough to turn them into enchanting pendants. When arranged in a row beneath a pergola or garden arch, they set the stage for quiet evenings, gatherings, or simple moments spent alone with the night. For a touch of rustic charm, keeping the metal in its natural state lets the warm glow contrast beautifully with the greenery around it. Painted in bright or pastel colors, the same structure can take on a whimsical, playful energy, perfect for garden parties and twilight dinners. The secret lies in how the light interacts with its surroundings. Ivy and flowering vines soften the edges. Stone floors or wooden tables catch the light and reflect it back gently. Even the flowers nearby seem to open themselves toward the glow. This DIY isn't just visually stunning, it's remarkably practical. Calendars are easy to find at thrift stores, flea markets, or even at the back of your own kitchen. Stringing them with a simple hanging kit or sturdy wire makes installation surprisingly simple. You don't need to overcomplicate the setup. In fact, the irregularities and imperfections give the final result a touch of authenticity that store-bought lighting can't replicate. When night fully arrives, the lights bloom like constellations. The floor shimmers with star patterns, fireflies float lazily in the air, and everything feels hushed, like a secret corner of the world has awakened. A place like this doesn't just look beautiful, it feels beautiful. And it all begins with something as ordinary as a calendar, given the chance to shine. Five. Crate Sofa Garden Lounge Light. When the last light of the day spills gently into the garden, everything seems to breathe a little slower. The air carries the soft scent of blooming flowers, and the quiet hum of bees lingers among the petals. Here, tucked between vines and blossoms, a simple structure of reclaimed crates has been transformed into something far more meaningful, a cozy outdoor lounge that invites you to sit, sip, and simply be. There's something almost poetic about using wooden crates. Their raw texture and imperfect lines hold a quiet story of reuse and care. By stacking and securing them together, they become the sturdy base of a garden sofa. On top, thick cushions with floral prints soften the look, creating a space that feels both rustic and tender. As twilight descends, lanterns strung along the edges begin to glow, wrapping the seating in a halo of warm light. It's a touch of magic anyone can recreate, no luxury required, only patience and heart. Small details turn this simple build into a true sanctuary. A wooden table beside the sofa holds a tea set, ready to turn ordinary evenings into gentle rituals. Nearby, potted hydrangeas and daisies add texture and fragrance, while grapevines drape softly from the pergola above. A light breeze stirs the petals, and the dancing lantern light paints quiet patterns across the wooden floor. For those who love DIY, this idea isn't just beautiful, it's wonderfully practical. Old crates are inexpensive and easy to find, and with a coat of paint or a touch of stain, they can reflect your personal style. Adding soft lighting underneath or around the edges is what makes the space come alive at night. The key isn't perfection, but warmth. A corner like this doesn't just decorate a backyard. It changes the way you experience it. It becomes the place where morning coffee feels sweeter, where sunsets linger longer, and where conversations stretch gently into the night. Simple materials, thoughtful hands, and a little light. That's all it takes to create a sanctuary that feels entirely your own. Six, oil drum mini pond lantern. When twilight stretches its soft blue fingers over the garden, the pond begins to glow as if it has borrowed the light of 1,000 quiet dreams. At first glance, it's nothing more than an upcycled oil drum, painted with care. But as the lanterns flicker gently, water lilies open like small stars on the surface, koi fish ripple through the water, and dragonflies hover in the air, it becomes something more, a sanctuary carved out of ordinary things. The beauty of this idea lies in its simplicity. An old drum, cleaned and painted, can hold far more than water. It can hold movement, reflection, and a sense of calm. By placing a few floating lotus flowers on the surface, the pond gains a quiet elegance. Lanterns circling the rim add a soft glow that mingles with the fading light of the sky, creating a mirror of warmth and stillness. Every ripple catches the lantern's light, turning the water into a living canvas. Rust adds its own poetry here. A green drum with its edges kissed by time looks perfectly at home on a cobblestone patio, surrounded by marigolds and trailing ivy. Chana fish glide beneath the surface with the unhurried grace of night itself, while fireflies sparkle like wandering embers. It's a scene that asks nothing of you, only to pause, breathe, and watch. For a brighter mood, a sky blue pond with golden fish brings a playful glow to a garden corner. The water is clear, the lilies crisp white, and the lanterns lined like pearls around the edge. Butterflies drift lazily over the flowers, and the sound of trickling water turns the space into a small oasis. It's easy to create, but the feeling it gives is deep, a sense that something beautiful is blooming quietly just for you. This is a DIY that doesn't demand perfection. It rewards imagination. A discarded drum, some paint, a few plants, a cluster of lanterns, and life slips gently into place. Whether it's koi, chana, or goldfish, their graceful dance brings movement to the stillness. And as the evening deepens, the pond glows, not just with light, but with a kind of calm that can't be bought, only built with your own hands. Seven, ladder garden light stand. As the evening sun leans low against the garden wall, an old wooden ladder comes alive with light and color. What once might have been forgotten in a dusty corner is now standing tall and full of life, every rung cradling a pot of flowers, every beam wrapped in a soft thread of glowing lanterns. The warmth of golden hour catches the petals of geraniums and lavender, brushing them with a light that feels almost tender. A few butterflies drift through the scene, completing the quiet poetry of a summer evening. This is the magic of simple things repurposed with care. A ladder, sturdy and humble, makes the perfect vertical stage for plants to bloom. Terracotta pots or pastel-painted containers add warmth and personality, while vines trail gently down the sides like soft green ribbons. Lighting transforms it from a daytime garden accent into a glowing evening centerpiece. Fairy lights, tiny lanterns, or even small tea candles tucked into jars are enough to let the structure whisper its soft invitation, stay a little longer. Placed against a wall, beneath a fruit tree, or in a tucked-away corner of the garden, this ladder stand can turn an ordinary space into something extraordinary. The vertical design saves ground space, making it perfect even for small backyards. And because each step can hold something different, herbs, trailing ivy, bright flowers, or aromatic plants, it creates layers of texture and scent that change with the seasons. The beauty of this project is that it doesn't require perfection. A reclaimed ladder, even one weathered by time, brings its own character. A little sanding, a bit of paint if you wish, and your hands can guide it into a second life. Add soft lighting, and it shifts from a planter to a quiet beacon in the night. In the stillness of evening, as the first stars blink awake, the ladder stands as a gentle reminder that beauty often hides in the simplest of things. One old object, a few flowers, a handful of lights, and suddenly, your garden has a story to tell. Reclaimed wood turtle garden house. There's something beautifully grounding about watching a small creature find its place in the garden. A turtle, slow and deliberate, does not rush to make its home, and neither should we. Here, a simple structure made from reclaimed wood has been transformed into a warm and natural haven. The soft golden hour light falls across the small house, its pitched roof and rough texture blending seamlessly with the surrounding greenery. Nearby, a quiet pond mirrors the sky, dotted with lily pads, and a turtle rests on a smooth stone, soaking in the warmth of the fading sun. The beauty of this kind of design is its harmony with nature. Reclaimed wood, with its weathered charm, brings authenticity and warmth. By shaping it into a little house with a curved doorway, it becomes not just a structure but a sanctuary, a place where turtles can retreat, rest, and feel safe. Placing the house beside a mini pond makes the habitat both functional and beautiful. The water invites the turtles to swim, while the sunlit stones give them a place to bask. Surrounding the pond with lavender, ferns, creeping thyme, and soft moss turns the space into something alive and layered. Butterflies dance through the air, dragonflies hover at the water's edge. As twilight arrives, small lanterns or fairy lights wrapped around the frame bring a touch of magic, making the habitat glow gently in the dark. It's a moment of quiet enchantment, a fairy tale that happens to be real. The most wonderful part is how achievable this is. A few planks of old wood, a handful of stones, and a small pond can create a corner that not only welcomes wildlife but calms the heart of anyone who passes by. It doesn't require perfection, just intention. By building with natural materials, everything blends, as though the house has always been part of the garden. In a world that moves too fast, a turtle's garden teaches us to slow down, to breathe, to build with care, and to create spaces where nature doesn't just visit, but belongs. 9. Tin can glow lantern path. When night begins to settle over the garden and the first fireflies awaken, something magical happens along the path. Tin cans, once destined for the trash, now glow like gentle stars scattered at your feet. Their punched-out floral patterns cast playful shapes onto the stone walkway, creating a living tapestry of shadow and light. Painted in soft turquoise and sunflower yellow, these humble lanterns turn the simple act of walking down the path into a quiet, enchanting experience. What makes this idea so beautiful is how easy it is to bring to life. Old cans become lanterns with just a bit of care. Clean them, paint them, and pierce delicate shapes with a small tool. The moment a candle is placed inside, they stop being ordinary objects. The light spills through each hole like water, washing the stones with patterns that dance in the breeze. Ferns and roses lean toward the warmth, and the evening air fills with the scent of flowers and a feeling of timeless calm. Lining them along a pathway is just one way to use them. Hanging them from a wooden fence, painted in pastel tones, creates a soft curtain of glowing light. The candles flicker gently against the ivy and daisies, turning a quiet corner of the garden into a glowing sanctuary. It's not just light, it's atmosphere, warm, intimate, and unforgettable. And around a table, where friends might gather at dusk, these lanterns transform into a canopy of glowing blooms. They don't shout for attention. Instead, they whisper, wrapping everyone in their gentle radiance. A few strings of wire, a steady hand, and a touch of imagination are all it takes to build a setting that feels like a hidden garden in a storybook. This is the kind of DIY that doesn't require perfection, only intention and a love for simple beauty. Recycled tin cans, soft paint, and a little candlelight can create something extraordinary. As the world slows down at night, these glowing lanterns invite you to stay outside just a little longer, to breathe, to look, and to feel the quiet magic settle around you. "10. Mason jar candle glow." As twilight falls, a gentle glow begins to bloom beneath the branches. It's not from street lamps or electric bulbs, but from something simpler, mason jars, each holding a quiet flame. Suspended from rustic twine, the jars sway softly in the evening breeze. Golden light spills out, washing over lavender and roses below, while fireflies drift lazily in the air as though joining the glow. In that moment, the garden feels less like a backyard and more like a scene borrowed from a storybook. What makes this idea so enchanting is how little it takes to create. Old mason jars, the kind often forgotten in kitchen cupboards, find new life as lanterns. A short length of natural twine or rope is all you need to hang them from branches. When a candle is placed inside, something almost magical happens. The glass cradles the flame, amplifying the warmth of the light, and the reflections dance against the leaves like tiny stars. It's simple, elegant, and endlessly atmospheric. This same quiet magic can line a pathway. A few jars placed on mossy stones can completely transform an ordinary walk through the garden. The light draws the eye downward, guiding each step while the flowers lean in like curious listeners. Marigolds, daisies, and soft grass amplify the warm tones, creating a soft tunnel of flickering gold. As butterflies flutter gently in the air, the scene feels alive, not staged, but grown into being. And when night deepens, the table becomes a gathering place. A few mason jar lanterns arranged among potted herbs and ivy turn any wooden surface into a glowing refuge. There's something grounding about sharing a quiet evening under the stars, with nothing but soft candlelight and the night breeze. The jars reflect the starlight above, blurring the line between the sky and the earth. This kind of DIY project reminds us that beauty doesn't have to be complicated. It lives in the simplest objects, transformed by care and light. A few jars, a few candles, and a little imagination are enough to build an atmosphere that invites people to slow down, breathe deeply, and let the night work its quiet magic. And this is what I love most about DIY. It's not just about building something. It's about breathing life into the forgotten. A simple piece of wood becomes a home. A small corner becomes a sanctuary. And a garden becomes a story you can feel. If this idea speaks to you, don't just scroll away. Like this video. Share it with someone who loves quiet beauty. And tell me in the comments, what would you build if you had just a few pieces of wood? Hit that subscribe button if you want to keep creating with heart. One click keeps the dream alive. And together, we can turn ordinary backyards into magical worlds.